The drill burn runs through the heart of Anstruther, here to the mouth of the burn where it meets the sea at Dreel Hall, which is owned and managed by Anstruther Improvements Association. In 2019, just before our annual duck race at Easter, members of the local community raised concerns about the quality of the water of the Dreel and the degraded state that it was in. So we really felt that this was a call to action to do something and see if we could improve the state of the burn.
This little corner of the world was built around two settlements, Anstruther Easter and Anstruther Wester, which were divided by a small river. The Dreel burn was once renowned as the silver thread which binds the beggar's mantle to the golden fringe of the East Neuk coastline, where brightly coloured kingfishers could often be seen feeding on little fish, such as minnows and sticklebacks. People who ventured further upstream would expect to catch something a bit bigger, such as trout or salmon. Over the years, the water quality has deteriorated so much that the silver thread becomes, at times, a brown and nearly lifeless ditch with little sign of fish of any type or size. For years, people have believed that guddling for trout in the Dreel was truly a thing of the past.
I was born in 48, so at the age of 7, I'd be up here. And we could come up and just where the recycling centre is at Pittenbeam, there's a great bend in there. There used to be a deep hole, and there'd be 2 or 3 sitting there with rods. Never caught anything there. We could see the trout, but they wouldn't catch. You couldn't catch. You had to be sneaky. You had to sometimes, like if you came to this bridge, you would lie down and you would peer over and have a look. And if you could see a trout there, you just put it was just a cane rod, well, a wee brass reel. It was homemade. You put a worm on your hook and trot it under and hopefully catch one. And occasionally there's a good guddling place up at the Milton Bridge because there's stones and there's a run underneath. You get in the water, guddle trout. The biggest trout I've taken out of this burn was £1.25 pound. And that, believe you me, is a big trout for this burn. I reckon it could have been an escapee for Ovenston Reservoir.
From source to coast, the main route of the principal watercourse in the East Neuk of Fife runs for 11.8 kilometres, just over 7 miles. The source of the burn is often thought to be around Gillings Hill Reservoir, yet the headwaters occurring slightly northwest of the reservoir are the true source. From Gillings Hill Nature Reserve, the burn flows south, passing Arncroch, and then southeast through the Balcaskey Estate. It is met with other tributaries which flow southeast from Carnby and the Balmonth Reservoir. The Dreel burn continues through Anstruther before it flows, finally, into the Firth of Forth. It is very easy to see the silt run off from the burn after a spell of heavy rain and watch it flow freely into the River Forth, where it can spread along the coast for some distance. Apart from the immediate impact on the bathing quality of the surrounding seawaters, the catchment farmland also gets depleted, and important coastal shellfish breeding grounds are also damaged.
So right here, standing here, right where we are now, I've got my feet in the Dreel in the North Sea, but we're right on the edge of the land, but we're surrounded by this massive sky as well. So it's where earth, sea, and sky meet, and I'm helping to reconnect people to that through seaweed here in the East Neuk. So what I've noticed in the last few years is all this green seaweed. All these green seaweeds are ulvas, and pretty normal to have a certain amount of ulva where the fresh water is meeting the salt water, but there's so much more here now. I've noticed this season and last season I've noticed so much more. So for me, that's an indicator that there must be higher levels of nitrogen coming out of here than there used to be. It's likely runoff coming from farmland, or worst case or just as bad or the same seriousness, it's pollution. It's it's poop, for lack of a better word.
Because it runs through so long and it's links a lot of the community, because it does come past Arn Crow and into Anstruther, and a lot of people rely on it. I feel like just the importance of what it as a body of water provides for people, so beautiful here. It'd be quite nice if it was down there. There's often swans on the reservoir, and yeah, I'd say a really beautiful place to walk or bird watch, or take your dog. Dogs are welcome. I'd say it's quite an important thing to care about because it affects our community as a whole, and it's not only on an environmental aspect but a social aspect as well. And I think it's a really prime example of a habitat and an ecosystem, and it's so local to us that really it affects everyone that lives here, if you ask me, even if people don't think like that.
Until very recently, the Dreel Burn catchment area has never been monitored or studied with any detailed analysis. In August 2019, a walk over the length of the burn identified and documented some initial areas of concern. In July 2022, an investigative report was prepared by Forth Rivers Trust, and this provided a more detailed examination of all the known issues, along with an overview of opportunities that outlined some of the mitigation methods that could be put in place to improve the ecological quality of the water. This should be seen by everyone as a long-term recovery project.
Our vision for the Dreel Burn is that of a healthy, biodiverse and vibrant river that's valued by the people in the local community and for many generations to come.
The main aims of the Dreel Burn project are to revitalise the natural environment and increase biodiversity along the length of this important waterway, helping to bring new life back to the burn while breathing more life into the local community too. There is a need to improve awareness and engage with the Dreel Burn at a wider community level, and it was recognised that more could be done to inspire people of all ages to connect with nature locally.
So on the back of the new biodiversity targets that the Scottish Government are setting out, there's a real push by 2030 to increase biodiversity in Scotland, and it kind of starts from now. And there's been a 24% decline in biodiversity since the 90s, and we're at a point now where we need to reverse that trend. So projects like the Dreel Burn project, although it's a small project in the whole scheme of things, it's all playing a part in helping boost these numbers. So Fish in the Class is a programme that's run by Forth Rivers Trust. It gives an opportunity for primary school kids to see the life cycle of a brown trout, and it's really given them an opportunity to connect with nature from an early age.
There we go. There's 3 tails fish in there. You sure it was just 2?
Quite difficult to see from behind me, but I'll demonstrate anyway.
Today we were undertaking a river fly kick sample, which is part of a citizen science sort of monitoring project for community groups, anglers, anyone who's interested in checking the health of their river, their local watercourse. So what we do is we go in and we do a standard method of like a kick sample, looking for the invertebrates that live in the water and in amongst the rocks and gravels. And that is in order for us to give it a kind of a score and determine how healthy that river is at that period of time.
It's wonderful to be involved in a project where the community, young children, older people, and everyone is involved, and in something which is hopefully going to generate some data and some real monitoring of the Dreel and the health of the river all the way along. It's wonderful that these young people are down here. It's wonderful that they're seeing the animals and the plants for real. They're looking at them under great detail. They're learning about what they're called and what they need to live and how important they are as part of our ecosystem. And hopefully one day they'll remember this experience and it will trigger something in them that they realise that this is right on their doorstep and it's precious and it's worth preserving.
Yeah, so we've got this amazing resource right in the middle of Anstruther, Dreel Woods, which runs along the side of the Dreel Burn from really the centre of town right up to Queen's Gardens and all the housing that's up there. So we've had a few activities here in the woods. We had a couple of weeks ago, we had an activity for kids, a young zoologists day, a bat event, so we're going to come out in the evening with a group of people, and a bat expert with some bat detectors. And you know, there's a lot of biodiversity that we don't see in the water, in the soil, in the trees, you know, lots of insects, invertebrates, these sorts of things. It's all around us all the time, even in the middle of quite a busy town like Anstruther. And so that's another great reason to have and maintain areas like this, is because there's so many things living here that you just don't normally see.
I see the Dreelside Woods project as bringing this piece of land into the community, but as part of developing a corridor right up the Dreel Burn.
There's lots of really good groups here locally that are contributing towards the flora and fauna within our local area.
I am the river, and the river is me.
A community-led project will return the Dreel Burn to a clean and vibrant river with increased biodiversity, benefiting and protecting the sustainability of key industries in the wider catchment area.
So our interest in the Dreel Burn is as a test case water catchment area for us to explore how we can create regenerative landscapes that contribute to nature and people, and crucially how we can bring a blend of public and private investment to support the actions in the landscape. So what we're looking at doing is working with landowners and community and a whole raft of partners that have come together around the Dreel Burn Investment Readiness Project to understand how we can make our landscapes more sustainable, to protect our water, both in terms of water quality, water quantity, how we can reconnect the fragmented habitats that we see across all of Scotland really, and how we start to regenerate biodiversity as well. But crucially, how we do that in a working landscape so we can continue to grow food.
The future of farmland and farming is changing to meet demand from both space and recreation and biodiversity and food, and it's trying to do everything. And this project is something that actually is pioneering a blend of those things together, which I think it's new territory, and it shouldn't be, but it is. So there's the people we've been exposed to through this project have got expertise in areas that we didn't know existed.
Farmers will take it on board, and they'll try, and if they have to make some minor changes, I'm sure they'll be keen to do that. Every customer now wants to know exactly how the crop's grown, how much fertiliser's put on, how much pesticides put on, and they also want to see farmers doing something to help the environment. So from the market point of view, there's much more control over what we do, and I think that's a good thing. It's made every farmer think about all these different things.
It's worth us all taking a wee step back and saying, well, in actual fact, maybe I shouldn't be buying the cheap cuts from the supermarkets. Maybe I should be going to the likes of Ardross. Maybe I should be buying my organic food from Bowhouse. These are the things that as an individual we can do, and then it takes the pressure off some of the farmers, and then maybe they don't have to put so many nitrates on the field in order to maintain the yields.
In Anstruther there is a well-organised community who are driven and have picked this project up themselves in terms of the Dreel Burn project to make these interventions along the riparian corridor. And all we're doing really is coming and saying, well, okay, what else can be done across the wider landscape? How do we deliver sustainable landscapes, and how do we pay for that?
There's this real tussle in the farmer's head over what is right, what pays, and what is long-term sustainable. And a business that doesn't have an income isn't sustainable either, so you've really got to balance them all.
I hope that we can develop a model here that will allow us to do this in other places as well, and to scale that up and to share our learning as well, and to share what we're achieving here, so that other people can do that, but across the UK and possibly further afield.
The Dreel can be a much healthier burn if we can all take better care of it.
It all ties together and ties the community together, but yeah, the local farmers are very open to talking about things. You know, obviously it is all part of a network, and it all needs to be sort of moved as a network, as a community.
There is quite a gap between most of the community and the farming members right now who are still part of the community, and I think I can actually have a bit of a role in helping the two sides understand each other, because I think we all want the same thing. Everyone in both communities want a vibrant Dreel burn, and if we can work together and achieve that, then I think that's really good. And the hogweed's a good example of how, by working together, we've managed to get a programme in place to eliminate it. So it's a small step, but it's a good example of how working together we can actually improve it for everyone.
The hogweed was a separate project really, but that is going to become an annual thing. But again, with the wider awareness of the Dreel burn, the wider project being implemented, stuff like this is now starting to get tackled, and you know, the key is we've got to keep on top of it.
We're really excited about the next phase of the project, working together with local initiatives and our stakeholders in the community. The first project that we're putting into place is the first major intervention on the burn, working with Forth Rivers Trust for the Balkaski Wetlands project. We're also working with Fife Coast and Countryside Trust on the Dreel Burn Investment Readiness project, looking to explore all the different options available to us with expertise that we need to put together a catchment management plan. There are many great ways to get involved in the project. We welcome anybody to come along, regardless of experience. Whatever you would like to do to help, please get in touch and get involved to make the burn a better place for everybody.
I am the river, and the